King Hector was a punk bitch. I can't stand that motherfucker. Everyone acts like it's cause he stole my girl. It's nothing like that. He's just a punk, plain and simple. It's not a jealousy thing either. It's not. Fuck Hector. Anyway, so one day he's attacking my castle using all these magic spells and shit, right? I'm thinking to myself, I'm all good. I got the advantage of having the castle I can hide inside. So I just chill in my very tall tower while the peasants and disgusting excuses of life forms fight my battle for me. Done it plenty of times, shit's practically routine at this point. I got all my guards and higher nobles of my kingdom, a staircase below myself. In there's William, my servant. Not the brightest, but I make use of him nonetheless. There's this wench I hired to serve Sharon, can't remember her fucking name. Last there's Sam, my loyal dog, who gets all the noblemen of my kingdom to rally to my side time after time. Good dude, and the only other guy with any brains around here that I can actually trust. Inside my room, I got my bitch Sharon, who's still somehow with me after all the times she's fucked up and I've punished her like I should. She's good in the sack, so I allow her re-entry to my bed every time. However, after the days of punishment have ceased and I gift her with my company, it's like she doesn't even appreciate this favor at all. She gets all moody and shit. Must be one of those woman things, I don't know. Like I was saying though, we're still together sitting there in the room, waiting for this siege to be done and shit, when my bitch starts complaining about how hungry she is. I scream down to the room below me in the tower. Wench, give my woman her damn fruit plate. Hurry her ass up. When the fruit plate's brought up, Sharon says, I'm tired of a fruit diet. All I eat every day is hot damn fruit 24/7. I'm fucking sick of it. Shut up and eat your fruit, ho. What else you want? I could prepare something else for you, my lady, the wench whispers as if she has a part in this conversation. Sharon smiles, but before I allow her to say shit, leave us, wench. My lady is pleased. Now away with you. A prime rib steak wouldn't hurt every once in a while, Sharon says as the wench sets the fruit plate down and leaves us lovebirds alone. Bitch, you'll get fat eating like that. I'm here to see your body stays right. You ain't much use to me if you ain't looking fine. Strictly fruits and vegetables for your ass. She gets over this easily as she stares across the room looking like she's staring into oblivion. I'm thinking, cool, as I mentally move forward. Take the damn fruit plate, bitch. I'm not hungry, is what she begins to say, but thankfully her shrewd comment gets interrupted by hellfire from above. Me getting disturbed by Sharon's nonsense, I had nearly forgotten the siege going on outside. Leaving Sharon to eat her damn fruit plate, I walked across to my balcony to catch all the fun with my own eyes. Seems this Hector guy had a larger army than my nobles had expected. His was big, sure, but as always, I was going to prove to everybody mine was bigger. The day before, I had gathered reinforcements from the small nearby town of Knightswood, or rather I had my servant William do it. They called their militia the Knightsmen, and had their noses so fucking up their own asses about how great of warriors they were. That added a sizable force to my already superior army, so even if Hector came to me thinking he could defeat my army, he would be gravely mistaken and misinformed on its true size. With the added benefit of the Knightsmen, my army had grown significantly since it was last shown striding out in full force. The Knightsmen came with a guarantee on how they improve any army size. It was well documented throughout the land. However, because of their strength, it was often said that one shouldn't release more than 40 of them at a time, for any more than that typically led to disaster. Still not caring how much they brag about how powerful they are, and being the sensible, intelligent man that I am, I decided I would release the entire militia all at once, regardless of counseling against it. I set them up the night before hiding behind a hill, waiting to strike at Hector from behind when he began to attack. This way, Hector and his men would be fucked from both sides. My hopes after the battle with this pointless Hector guy were to then infiltrate what was rightfully mine, the town of Knightswood. I would have Knightswood, which I hadn't seen in ages, after the other armies defeated one another, and my perfectly large army would stand tall at the end with still enough strength left to attack a second time. The plan in my head was perfect, but these assholes in real life were fucking it up for me. As I looked out upon the battle, I saw my front gate get blown to bits. Hector's army came charging through with ease. My Knightswood was nowhere to be seen. Hector had a wizard-looking guy doing all sorts of weird shit on the battlefield, waving his arms around, diminishing my force with his spells. All my peasants now lied in a giant pile of slightly less useful flesh, which I knew post-battle I would have to hire someone to clean up. With that added rage, I decided to go down and have a word with this Hector, who was quickly becoming a pain in my ass. Sharon came with as I made my way down the steps. My counselors begged me not to go outside, and to please them I decided I'd agree and keep myself safely indoors. Although everyone wanted me to stay high up in my tower, I decided fuck that and went down to my massive throne room, conveniently placed underneath my aforementioned very large tower. As I sat down on my throne, by my side as always was William, and Sharon at my other. If this Hector punk thought he'd intimidate me, he was wrong. My confidence was entirely intact as I sat on my massive throne. I can't believe what I'm hearing, as I hear outside my army fail, and before I know it, some douche wearing a crown is walking my way. At one side is his wizard, on his other is a man dressed in the armor of the knightsman, smirking a really bitchy smile. I quickly gather him as their leader, signified by his overly pretentious armor, uniquely painted to look like a puma cat of the wild. This hot shit must have betrayed my ass, I figure out. I suppose your guarantee didn't mean jack shit, huh? I want to say to this motherfucker. But being smart, I don't. I keep my cool and look intimidating to the intruders and the traitor that approach me. Seeing my manspread, they quiver. Soon the three men are insulting me with the fact that they feel entitled enough to be close enough to myself that I can actually feel their breath in the air around me. This is my air you're trespassing on, I say, and wait for them to comprehend their wrongdoings and disperse. They stay silent for way too fucking long, then Hector smiles at me in a mocking way. Your presence isn't as precious as you make it seem, King Caden. How dare you speak my name as if you have the right to do so? Fearing the alpha male in the room, he turns away. And who are you, fair lady? He rudely asks, with his attention now on my Sharon. I serve my bitch a stare like the one I had seen her give not long before, reminding her how little I like it when she speaks when not spoken to by myself and only myself. Sharon, my lord, she quietly answers. Sharon! My, what a beauty you are to behold, if you don't mind me saying so, my lady. The starry sky itself could never compete with your beauty. What cursed prison has your boyfriend locked you away in all this time? Alright, that's enough nonsense out of you. Guards! Smite him where he stands! Guards? All my guards had now moved away from my side of the throne room, and were standing side by side with Hector's army and the knightsmen. I sympathize with your sorrows being with this wretched man, my lady, I truly do. There's no reason his downfall must bring about yours as well. Join me, my lady, and be treated with respect in my kingdom that we shall build for ourselves. She doesn't need any of that respect crap you're selling. Now this punk had gone too far. It was time I taught him some manners. This motherfucker made me get up off my throne. You little shit! Suddenly I was frozen where I stood, mouth unable to voice my frustration. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the wizard, now standing there with his eyes glowing red at me, making no sound, with one hand outstretched to me in spell, the other hand shaking his index finger at me. This the knightsman captain found funny. My king, he sarcastically said as he approached me. Don't be mad, bro. I mean, you clearly have reason to be. Hector's won the battle, my militia and I've betrayed you, you've lost your castle, your woman, and now your mobility. Maybe it's time you try a different approach. The captain then slaps me twice on the cheek, laughs in my motionless face, and walks back to join Hector and the wizard. Clearly my servant William must be frozen like me, for never before had he allowed anyone to insult me like this. This is Grong, captain of the militia you thought was yours to control. They were loyal to I, King Hector, not you from the start. As I was saying, my lady, before I was so rudely interrupted, you would have a place in my kingdom as a noblewoman, given the freedom to live as you please, with the ability to do as you choose without this man's evil ways preventing you from doing so. What do you say? Sharon was silent for a few seconds, then spoke. Could I eat prime rib steaks? My lady, you can eat whatever the fuck comes to your mind. If it's prime rib you would like, then it is prime rib you shall have. Alright then. Wait, I don't gotta sleep with one of you assholes for this shit, right? Nope, complete freedom. Cool. Alright then. Sharon walked over to me and lovingly spat on my face one last time. This was a sexual practice she exercised often to me, and if it wasn't for me being entirely frozen head to toe, my dick probably would have gotten really hard from it. I have but one more request before I swear fealty to you, my Lord Hector. My maiden Beth, who this asshole consistently refers to as wench, she must be permitted to go with me as a free woman herself. Very well, my lady, consider it done. Thank you, my lady, saith the wench. I have words to speak before we all start singing our kumbayas and whatnot, my nobleman Sam cuts in. He's really good at that, and I'm hoping it's to come to my defense. As you know, good King Caden, I have been the sole financier of your personal guards for some time. I won myself this honor from you through my reputation of loyalty to you and being trustworthy to a fault. I'm here to tell you as I look upon you one last time that I never liked you. Sure, I'd accompany you to the weekly, family-friendly execution picnics, spend many a Friday night quite liquored up in your company, been high as shit with you and your servant William here, done some really fucked up shit together, but it was all to get close enough to hurt you, to really hurt you. If you haven't put it together yet, shit for brains, your guards are, as they've always been, my guards. When King Hector offered me the opportunity to work for him and betray you, I couldn't think of a single kingly deed from your past to make me question my decision to throw my reputation aside. As for you, William, well, sorry, lad, you've always been alright in my book. Don't blame me for your own miscalculations on who to put your faith in. Every decision has its consequence, after all. I'm sorry, and what consequence is that, Sam? Asked my Sharon. Death, of course, my lady. King Hector's already promised to me your boyfriend and his followers' heads. Seems that would take the tally up to 2, just these dipshits. My lord Hector, if I may beg you spare more bloodshed today. Caden is a foul man, but I do not wish him dead. William might follow him off the edge of a cliff, but he is not a bad soul, just weak-minded. Spare them, please, my lord. This woman's already asked you her final favor of the day. No more shall Hector attend to your every command, my lady. By now, Sam's all up in my face and salivating my demise. Enough, enough! My lady is right. Death is not a penalty my kingdom deems necessary for this man. He shall be banished. What? Sam shrieks with his knife now against my throat. But my king! I shall not invite this woman into my new kingdom, then have the first action I take be to kill this man she deems worthy of life. If anyone was to have reason to kill this man, it is her. If she requests of me here and now to spare him, then he shall be spared. My king, if I could ask of you to reconsider. I am sorry, Sam, but you may not. Sam's guards looked at their leader now, waiting for a signal to strike at Hector's men. But with the faintest shake of his head, Sam signaled his guardsmen to refrain from action. Sam lowered his knife. Hector then walked over to my Sharon and looked her deep in the eyes. Is this truly what you want, my lady? For me to leave this wretched man breathing and send him into exile? It is. Consider my loyalty yours if you grant me this request. Then it is done. Wizard, take your 2 mental prisoners away. I'll send you tomorrow morning with your carriage and some of my men on the journey to finding these 2 a suitable exile. I trust you'll find an acceptable environment far away from here to discard of their foolishness. The wizard silently nodded, but King Hector kept monologuing. As for you, King Caden, I'm afraid this will be our first and last conversation. Your castle, your throne, your people are now mine. I shall rebuild what I've destroyed here today 10 times fold. Those who were once your people will do much better now without you. Goodbye. With that, Hector walked out of my throne room, Grong by his side, flipping me off and starting up laughing again. Their men followed them, with Sharon and the wench following close behind, Sharon's eyes on me the whole time as she walked away. Sam still was where he stood, giving me a hard, long stare. He looked so douchey, staring me down with his expensive clothes covering up his lying ass. The wizard quietly and patiently waited to take me and William away until Sam was done with his bitching. Listen close, Caden. I am no longer your loyal pet. If you ever try to strike at me, or my new king, or our new kingdom, I will not hesitate to cut your fucking tongue out through your neck. Understood? I stood there, still frozen in my spot. Sam smirked and breathed out a short laugh. Good enough, I suppose. And with that walked away in the direction of his new master. He's all yours, wizard. The wizard nodded, still not saying jack shit. Chapter 2. Being hauled unmoving in a cart for thousands of fucking miles sucks dick.